What is up, ninjas? Welcome to the Queenstown, New Zealand vlog. Just chilling here on this nice little ski resort. About to get my luge on in Queenstown, New Zealand. It's beautiful here. Today's vlog is going to be about something a little bit different. But I just wanted to give the intro on this beautiful scenery. Look at this. It is absolutely ridiculous here. If you like mountains, there's probably nowhere better in the entire world to live than Queenstown, New Zealand. So come and check it out. See you in a sec. What is up, ninjas? Coming to you live from beautiful Queenstown, New Zealand, next to this absolutely ridiculous lake. And today I want to talk about something that I think is extremely important for all entrepreneurs to understand. So this is what I like to call the it-when mentality. And so the it-when mentality basically means that no situation is ever going to be perfect for you to become an entrepreneur, for you to start a business, for you to leave your 9-to-5 job behind. The only way that you'll ever actually start to do it and make that real meaningful change in your life is by understanding that the situation is never perfect. And so let's actually kind of go through some examples to make this really clear. So for example, I have a great friend of mine. He's living in Denver, Colorado. He's one of my best friends, but you know, he's been wanting to start an online business for what seems like years. He would say, you know, month after month after month, I'm going to do it when. And, his particular excuse was he just wanted to get everything settled in Denver, and then he wanted to go and travel with me across the world. And then when he was doing that, he would actually start his online business. So then once we started traveling, he'd say, I'm just too discombobulated. All these things are going on. The Wi-Fi sucks, right? I'll do it when I get back to the USA. And so, this is not to put anyone down. It's not to, call anyone out. It's really just to kind of highlight how important it is as an entrepreneur to understand that you are the one who has to be productive in every situation. You are the one who has to make things work. You are the one who has to realize that there is no perfect time to become an entrepreneur, to start a website, to start an e-commerce business, to start selling on Amazon, to start going out and doing Shopify. And so let's go through another example. One of my good friends, back when I was working at Facebook, they'd say, I've always wanted to start my own business. I've always wanted to kind of leave the 9-to-5 job behind. And although that was a very cushy job, they still had the kind of that entrepreneurial spirit that I think so many of us have and not enough of us actually exercise on and execute on and create with. And so, his particular excuse was, I've already been working for 3 years. I always told myself that I'd stay, at least until I became a manager. And so once I become a manager, I will do it when I become a manager, right? And so it's the it-when mentality. He will do it when it becomes easy for him, rather than understanding that any real, meaningful, impactful, lasting, massive change in your life is never going to be perfect. It always requires you to move. It always requires you to, give up the place you've always wanted to live. It always requires you to move away from your family, or it always requires you to, not see your friends as much. And, while some of these things can be mitigated and you can still live a beautiful, happy, wonderful life in every way, right? You have to understand that if you do want to change your life, you have to realize that that involves some actual change in your life. It involves, understanding that no situation is ever going to be perfect except for one, right? The only situation that is ever perfect to make real, meaningful, entrepreneurial, lasting change to your life from a monetary perspective, from a spirituality perspective, from an anything perspective, is to realize that the only perfect time is now. It doesn't matter, if you have bills to pay. It doesn't matter if, your kid is in college. It doesn't matter if, your girlfriend is living in the city and doesn't want to move. It doesn't matter if you become manager next year. It doesn't matter if, you have 4 years out of your 5 years in college. People that I talk to all the time that are staying in college and they hate what they're doing, they said, well, I've already been in college for 1 year. I've already been in college for 4 years. I've already been in college for 3 years. Why would I give up all of that time and money and energy that I invested to, pursue what I've always wanted to do and pursue my dream? And that's the most backward logic to me when you actually think about it, because if you invest 1 year or 3 years or 4 years into doing something that you don't want to do, why would you, instead of giving that up to pursue what you love, spend your entire only life you ever get doing that thing that you don't enjoy doing? It's crazy when you think about it, but so many people do it that way. So many people say, I've already been working here for 5 years. I already have, a bunch of money in my pension, or I already have, money in my Roth IRA, or maybe my, my shares in the company are vesting in a certain schedule. And, I'm not telling you to be stupid and give away a ton of money, but, the stupidest thing you could possibly do, in my opinion, is work somewhere you don't want to work for longer just to get some fringe benefit. right? I think Elon Musk could have probably worked at PayPal for his whole life, but instead he decided to do what he loved and push the boundaries of technology and start SpaceX and Tesla, and now his life is much better because of that. And so you have to take lessons from people who are absolutely just a step above, you know, most entrepreneurs, like Elon Musk, like Steve Jobs, right? He got ousted from Apple. He could hold it personally, and he could have held a grudge, and he could have never, you know, come back and reshaped, you know, much of the entire world with the innovations that he brought to that company that he created. But, you know, instead he decided to swallow his pride in that case, come back, and yes, he obviously made a ton of money doing that. But the moral of the story, guys, is it will never be perfect. Don't tell me that you're gonna start entrepreneurship once you finish a degree you hate. Don't tell me that you're gonna start, you know, opening your first Amazon store after you make manager in 2 years at an accountant job that you absolutely hate. Don't tell me that you are gonna start exercising after that little scrape on your knee heals. Don't tell me that you're gonna start meditating and start to work on your actual fulfillment and happiness in your life, or calm your anxiety or depression, you know, when you get that next paycheck. Don't tell me that you are going to do the things that will make you a happier, healthier person when some arbitrary event happens, guys. So the moral of the story, the moral of my life as an entrepreneur, the moral of what I've learned over the past few years of being a full-time entrepreneur is the time is never perfect. There's only one perfect time, guys, and that is the second that this video ends, because the only time to make real massive change in your life is right now.